I recognize the honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Madam Speaker, my question is for the Minister of Service, Nova Scotia. A community legal worker from Dalhousie Legal Aid recently described fixed-term leases as a leading cause of rental instability and housing insecurity in this province. These leases have become the standard practice for landlords to evict renters and hike up the prices for the next tenant. Renters across this province are fearful that they will lose their home just because their landlord wants to get around the cap. So my question to the minister is, why does this government refuse to close the fixed-term lease loophole?
I recognize the honourable minister for Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Of course, nobody in this legislature wants to see Nova Scotians homeless. I spoke about that yesterday in debate, Madam Speaker. The fact is, and I've answered this question a number of times in the legislature, about a housing crisis. We are in a housing crisis, Madam Speaker, and we know that Nova Scotians need more choices of where and how they want to live. That's why we're creating the environment to build more supply. That is the solution to the housing crisis, Madam Speaker. We are making historic investments in housing, in supportive housing, in affordable housing, in student housing, housing to support healthcare workers, Madam Speaker, removing the provincial portion of the HST on new builds, supporting skilled trades, Madam Speaker. We could go on. That is the absolute solution to the housing crisis. We're not stopping.
I recognize the honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm glad the minister said he wanted to create an environment and a better system. Well, we have a better system. It's sitting on the table. It's the rent control system that has a robust amount of options and safeguards and preventions and all of these things that are within that. So the minister can make that choice. Chrissy Harper is a renter who has lived in Halifax for about 10 years, and next month they will be forced to move out of this province because their fixed-term lease ended and they can't find another home they can afford. Chrissy has worked hard to build a life in Nova Scotia and was looking forward to growing their family and putting down roots. Madam Speaker, what does this minister have to say to young Nova Scotians like Chrissy who are being forced to leave this province because they cannot find housing they can afford?
I recognize the honourable minister of Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I will remind all members of the House and members of the NDP caucus that we do have a housing plan, a housing strategy. It's working. We're making those investments to support Nova Scotians. Madam Speaker, do you know what housing activists said about the last NDP housing strategy? They said, and I quote, "The strategy completely misses the boat for people who are homeless or at risk of eviction." And that is not a strategy. NDP didn't invest in public housing. We are. They didn't invest in affordable housing. We are. We're doing it right, and we're getting it done.